How's it going, guys? So I thought I'd go ahead and make a little bit of a video today just talking about aliases, okay? If you're new to OpenBSD, Linux, terminal use in general, one of the things that you kind of want to know is aliases. If you're unfamiliar with what aliases are, in general, what they are, aliases are there's stuff that you will throw into your shell configuration, whether that be bash, KSH, ZSH, fish, whatever shell you're using, you'll throw these in here. This video is targeted towards those of you who are new to this kind of space. You probably don't take advantage of aliases, or you might not even know what aliases are. So in that vein, I'm going to assume that this kind of new person doesn't also know for sure what they're using as their shell. You just know you have a terminal emulator. It's called Xterm or Alacrity or whatever it is in GNOME or KDE. I believe it's GNOME Terminal, and I have no idea what K's is, like console or some shit, I'm sure. But to check what shell you're using, open up your terminal, and most people install NeoFetch. Okay, so if you have NeoFetch installed, just run it. And when you run NeoFetch, it will tell you what shell you're running. I mean, it'll also tell you the terminal that you're using. Look, I sometimes see this online in forums for new users and stuff. They'll get mixed up. Your terminal emulator is not your shell. Let's just make that clear. Your shell is different. We won't go into the nitty-gritty of that because it doesn't matter. But if you are confused, you don't know which shell you're running, you can simply install NeoFetch, and NeoFetch is in every, like, I don't know that you're going to find a, excuse me, I don't know what's happening to my voice. You'll be able to find that in pretty much every single Linux distro's repositories. You'll find it on OpenBSD, FreeBSD. I mean, it's everywhere. Everyone uses NeoFetch. So I'm using KSH here. You might be using something like bash. Now, if you're using bash or KSH, you should have a .bashrc or a .kshrc file in your home directory. If you don't, that's fine. You can make it. It's really not a problem. So I will go ahead and vim into my bash RC, since that's probably what most of you guys are going to have. You can see my aliases here in the bash RC are much less than I have in my KSH RC. I have more over there, mainly because that's what I've been using lately. So this bash RC has pretty much fallen by the wayside. So yeah, but you can see what aliases are is they are a fantastic way of just mapping other things to another command that you want to run. So for example, here I have aliased ls to lsd. If you're unfamiliar with what lsd is, it's not the drug, it's ls deluxe, and it essentially adds icons and color to your ls command, which is, well, if you're, again, unfamiliar with ls, I'll just run it here. Yeah, it shows you the folders and files you have in whatever directory you're in. I'm in my home directory here, so I got my documents, downloads, all that stuff. Now, this here, again, I'm running KSH, so this actually isn't LSD. I'm actually using EXA right now. It's fine. I like EXA. I've been trying it out here recently. EXA and LSD are some, like, they're LS alternatives that have, color and niceties added on with them. So let me go back into my KSHRC and show you some of the aliases that I have in here and the importance of aliases. Okay, aliases make your life inside of a shell much better, just much better. And it's not like you have to take advantage of aliases, but you should, because it's gonna save you time. So here I have like dot dot and dot dot dot. So three periods and 2 periods, both mapped to cd dot dot. So that way I don't have to type out cd and dot dot to go up a directory. That's how you go up a directory. And the 3 dots is even more helpful because let's say I've gone down into my .config folder, I've gone down into my Qt browser folder, and then down into my Grease Monkey folder in there, which is where you can add like plugins and stuff to Qt browser. If I'm in that folder, but I want to go back up to the config directory, but I don't want to go all the way up to my home directory, because if you just type out cd, that's going to take you back to your home directory. I don't want to go back to my home directory. I want to go back to my .config directory. Well, I need to move up 2 directories, and then I'm there in my .config. Typically, I'd have to do cd dot dot slash dot dot, and then I could go back up there. That's a little bit aggressive. So instead, 3 dots, and I'm back up there. Saves time. And then also, instead of saving time, a lot of the time that you're using aliases, it's just to essentially add on more functionality. And here I'm aliasing ls to exa, and that's just to give my ls more features. Instead, here, like, this doesn't really save me time that much, but it's a default that I would obviously want. So if I was to run df, it's going to work here like I have it set up. So when I type out df, this is going to actually run df-h, which gives me the size and everything for the available size, all that stuff for my drives here in the df command. It gives them to me in human readable, which means they're in gigabytes and sizes that make sense for a human to read instead of just bytes. I believe that's what it typically will give it to you in. I obviously want this in gigabytes, like, clearly. So yeah, like, that's something that makes sense to add. And then you can essentially, once you start using aliases over time, they will save you so much time doing stuff. It makes sense. So I have like sensors and disks in here. This will run the sysctl hardware sensors and hardware disk names commands for me. It's a pain to type all of that out. It's really not that bad. I mean, it's really just like 2 words, and they're not massive words either, but I can condense them down much more and just type out sensors and then get the command working. And it's just faster. If I want to see the disks, I can get the disk names and their UUIDs. It's really, really awesome to have it functioning this way. And aliases are just one of those things where you might not have heard about them, you might not have even known about them, but they're a small thing that will increase your productivity and also just make life easier once you start using them. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully you didn't already know this, which I'm going to assume most of you guys are pretty good with aliases. You know what aliases are. But for newcomers around here, or just new to Linux, new to BSD, new to Unix in general, people might not know about this, and hopefully this video helped you. This, at the very least, this is who I'm making this video for. So if you enjoyed it and you liked it, hit the like button. Tell me what you thought down in the description below, in the comments below. And then don't forget to subscribe, because I will be posting videos like this and more pretty frequently. So make sure you stick around. I also want to throw up the fantastic people who support me over on Patreon. These are all their names. These are great, fantastic people. They support the channel and keep it going. So thank all of you, and I will make sure to go ahead and say, if you want to join them, the link will be down in the description, as well as a link over to my Discord, so you can chat, talk with us and everything. And yeah, I think that's about it for this video. I will go ahead and say I apologize. Of course, my phone's going to go off right at the end of this video. I don't know what's going on with my nose and everything. It seems like I'm coming down with something. Hopefully not. But yeah. And so also, before we close this out, I will go ahead and say I'm doing the podcast with Matt today. That's live over on the Linux Cast channel. So if you want to see that podcast, make sure you're subscribed to Matt's channel. It's the Linux Cast. You can find it pretty easily on YouTube. And yeah, I will see you guys over there for that. And we might be doing a live stream later. No promises. Peace.